What's up, guys? Just enjoying a nice cold Bud Light. A beautiful summer day. It's about 35 Celsius today. It was 34, 35 Celsius, so mid 90s Fahrenheit. I decided today that I was gonna catch up on some palm reviews, so I decided that I would do a couple here. And I was thinking about doing one of these in Florida, but since I have my own palmetto right here in my backyard, what better place to start with the one in your yard. So this is a palm review on the Sabal palmetto. So it's one of my favorite palms. As far as beauty, I have to give it about a 10. The leaves are giant, especially this one here. My leaves are really giant. I can't even, the video doesn't do it justice, but you can get a glimpse of this leaf. It's just absolutely giant, and they're very, it's full sun today, very Costa palmate. The thatching on the trunk is just beautiful. Now this is a fairly young palm as far as for how old the palmetto is, but I mean it's actually a very mature plant. My roof right there is about 16, 17 feet tall. So the top of the fronds, that's about where that tree's sitting. This is over 10 feet of trunk. It's a 6-foot fence right behind it there. You have about just around 10 feet of trunk, and very thick at the base. Here, I'll set my beer can here at the base so you can see right there. So you can see my foot, but that'll give you a clue of the scale there. But anyways, that's the size of this one. And now, so these palms can have their thatching, which like this, the old thatching here, where the old leaf bases where they go on the palm. It can have them on or it can have them off. Usually when you're in Florida, you'll see them with it off. Usually all that means is the palm's a bit older, so they've either fell off or people have taken them off. You can get them off, but these will start to fall. That's usually a sign of the palm being around 20 years old from my experience or from what I'm hearing from people. But typically you can see mine has started to lose some of these. These sort of just rot off and fall off with time, and they start to break off, and the top ones stay on more so, and then I think people give them a little bit of a hand. But these palms, I mean, you can see them 40 feet tall, 50 feet tall. Around there is the max height. That's ones that get a lot of water and stuff like that. So if they get tons of water, they can grow that. They'll usually grow a little stouter and a little shorter with less water, but they'll take conditions very sloppy or very dry. They're very drought tolerant when they're established. This one here is starting to get fairly established. But they prefer it to be wet all the time. Like they prefer sloppy, wet, mucky conditions. That's where they grow in bogs and different areas in Florida. But they do go through, in their native habitat, they do go through times where they will be more dry seasons and very hot. But I think usually when I see them, the ones do better, have more water. But they're very easily transplanted. They don't really like to have their roots disturbed, but they can be. Basically in the nursery trade, what they'll do is they'll just dig this tree up and they cut the head off. They cut off all the fronds except for they just leave sort of just the center spear that's not open, and even sometimes they cut that as well, which was the case with this tree. And then if you can buy some of them, you can buy them. What they'll do is they'll put it in a pot for a month or two. It might be 4 months, might be 5 months, take somebody to buy it, and what they'll do is they'll leave it to let it regrow a couple of fronds so that you can see that it's growing good, so it looks nicer, and that way you can sell it and it's proven. Or they'll just, if they're doing it for the city and stuff, they just cut them out, put them in the ground, and you know, if they plant 100 of them and they have to replace 3 or 4 of them, they die. Or if they plant 100 and they have to replace 10 or whatever it is, the numbers, they just don't care. They'll just let them die because they're cheap. And pretty much all of these, they're not grown in cultivation. They're all dug out of the areas that they grow naturally, sort of in the woods and stuff along the side of the roads. You'll see them in everywhere in Florida. They're the most common palm in Florida, most likely. They can grow in full sun, and they can also grow in basically full shade, and they'll tolerate either. And they'll tolerate lots of different soil. They're salt tolerant on their soil and stuff. I'm gonna just sort of give it a cold hardiness. They're good down to about zone 8, I want to say, like just depending on, I mean, people can push them further and things. Sometimes you can get protected areas and things, but they're good down to around -12 Celsius. So that's a pretty cold hardy. You can find them, they're native to about Bald Head Island, North Carolina, and they stay all the way along the coast. They do move inland as you get into Georgia, like South Georgia and stuff. native, and they go across to the Gulf Coast a bit as well. But they're native to those areas. But you can find them growing all the way up north, as far as Virginia Beach. You'll see them; they can handle that. But they're very slow growing. I have a 3-year-old one, and it's the leaves are, about 4 or 5 leaves, about a little longer than a beer can, and that's about it. Like, so if you want to grow one from seed, like even in Florida, typically people don't grow them from seed. They just have them out in the woods, and they will self-seed themselves, and people pull those ones out or whatever the case is. But as far as the total overall, I'm just going to give it some ratings here. So I'm going to give, because I kind of did this with some of my palms, I'm going to start doing this just basically for myself. It's not, there's nothing official about this, it's just my own personal rating. So for growth, I'm going to say this is about a 3 out of a 10, because they're fairly slow. This one, however, it has started to pick up this past year. I think when they get more established and they're at a certain age, they do grow a little quicker. I think they slow down in their old age and they slow down in their young age. And I think this one is middle-aged. I'm assuming this is around 20 years old. And that's when they usually start to, they're still fast. As they get over about like 20 feet, they start to slow down then, and they don't get crazy high like a Washingtonia Robusta like that guy or anything. Those guys are just speed, and skyscrapers. But anyways, so overall, I'm going to give it about a 9 out of 10, just overall. Basically a 10 on beauty and 9 overall. And for cold hardiness, I'm going to give it probably about an 8.5, because the only thing you're really getting more cold tolerant that has a trunk is basically a windmill like these guys over here. That's the only thing you're basically going to get in those ones that's more cold hardy. So those can take down to minus 14, 15, maybe some people say minus 17 and things. These are good down to about minus 12, so they're pretty close to there. As far as a trunking palm that still looks tropical, I mean, you can have your Rhipidum philomhystrix, the needle palm and things, and Sabal minor, which can handle a lot more cold, but they're basically just like a bush. So this gives you that tropical, full palm look that you want. So this is just a full overview and palm review on one of my favorite palms, the Sabal palmetto. And if you guys want to subscribe, like and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Later, guys.